So, Mark, did you see that picture of Paris under construction? It opened September 1st, 1999, just celebrated 25 years. You can see the bathtub pool, the Eiffel Tower, and the Bellagio, which just opened the year before, which is a reminder that the modern area of the Strip really didn't exist before then.
Quite a few people will probably be surprised to see Bellagio completely constructed while this is still going up. And this is easily confused for Paris, according to the report we had a couple months ago. And the funny thing is, I have it on the 20-minute travel episode, another place that has a fake Paris.
There's so many fake Eiffel Towers everywhere. I don't even know which one is my favorite.
Not the real one, right?
Wow, how could it be? So this last weekend, USC and LSU played. USC won the game, but the kind of cool stuff that was going on was at Wynn, where the USC marching band decided to go through the casino. And this reminded me of episodes of Las Vegas, where all of a sudden the guests of the week were just doing concerts in the middle of the casino. It looked really neat.
Yeah, I think it's kind of fun. It's cool. I know some old school gamblers probably hated it, and quite a few comments on Twitter about, what if you're like in the middle of a heater on the craps table or something, and you have this distraction, messes everything up. It does feel a little bit weird at the Wynn. You'd think it'd be somewhere else, but I think it's kind of fun, something different.
Josh and Rachel captured some videos of it, and then Wynn released some videos of it, so they were leaning into it. So clearly it was an authorized activity, but I think it's neat to have casinos sort of come to life in these weird different ways with people coming. You don't see that too often. The game itself was a success. I think 63,000 people came to the game, and this proves that Las Vegas is really a sports destination.
I won't make any Kenny G comments because they upset people last time.
So go Trojans or LSU. I guess I grew up in LA. I should cheer for USC.
Yeah, it was interesting to see, they said California is so close, you could drive 4 hour drive or whatever, and the stadium was still more LSU fans, according to Jacob in Vegas, over California, which is close, and you wouldn't expect that, but it's kind of the running joke that nobody in LA really cares about sports, right? Isn't that the thing?
I guess, but they all come here to go to the sports books, and that's been a cool thing to cover over the last few years as sports books get even bigger and better. And earlier this year, Suncoast announced a massive renovation. They're still ongoing, but the first part of that was closing their showroom and opening up a new sportsbook in that space. Then the old sportsbook will become the bingo hall, and a bunch of other stuff will change along the way. I'll talk about that in a second, but here's the sportsbook. It looks great. Another example of this new age of sportsbooks and how it's so much better than the old ones.
Yeah, it looks really good. I mean, it looks kind of similar to Durango, not quite the same as Durango, but kind of like leaning into that type of feel to it, and maybe what Fontainebleau was going for, but they just did it like on a much, much, much smaller scale, and it kind of sticks out there. But we do see this going on more and more places, which we both have commented multiple times. Seems surprising because sportsbooks have never been a big driver in financial gains for the casinos. So it's just interesting that they're leaning into this. But it looks really great.
It reminds me, Sunset Station is still my favorite of all these newer local casino sports books, but they're all getting these giant screens, places to sit. And I think we're going to see every sports book go through this renovation. I think the key for these properties is finding a space that's suitable with the height and everything. Suncoast, of course, taking their theater space. So the other things we have to look forward to, they still have that new bar that's coming in, renovations to a lot of the public spaces, the bowling center. So this was sort of the first part, but a lot of changes coming as it looks a lot like Durango. You mentioned that the concept art makes Suncoast look a lot like Durango. So we know the design language that's in these days.
Yeah, it seems like a copycat, and I will say that bingo hall looks like it's going to be amazing. I don't know that I've ever said that or wanted to go to a bingo hall, but that looks like it would be a fun place.
I played so much bingo at the old bingo hall with my grandmother back in the day, so looking forward to it. They're moving it from the second floor down to the first floor, so should get some more action with that bingo-loving crowd. So, Mark, life can be so boring, am I right? But thankfully, Golden Nugget Online Casino, today's video sponsor, can help. And even better, they're offering MTM Vegas viewers an awesome deal. New customers who sign up with the promo code M2M can get $77 in site credits with just a $7 minimum deposit.
Yeah, mundane tasks like sitting at that middle school basketball game and watch 27 bricks go up in a row. I like pulling out my phone, doing a little side action. They have over 300 games to keep you engaged. Roulette, blackjack, craps, all the slots you could want, rocket. I've been using it for a few years. It's safe and reliable. I've had a great time with it.
Download the Golden Nugget online casino app today to get all of your casino favorites right on your phone. Once again, new customers can get $77 in site credit. Just use the promo code M2M and make a $7 minimum deposit. Make any moment golden with the Golden Nugget online casino app.
Use that code M2M, get that site credit, have some fun, enjoy.
So download the app right now. Thanks to Golden Nugget Online Casino for sponsoring this video. So we know it was a hot summer. We haven't talked about weather on the show in a while. You know, I stopped talking about how hot it was. After the 120-degree heat apocalypse that we had earlier in the summer, everything else seemed kind of cool in comparison. But it's now in, and officially this was the hottest summer ever. June, July, August, and not even close. The average daily temperature, 96.2 degrees, and that beats the record of 93.7. So significant change. And during the 3 months of summer, the airport logged 36 days at 110 degrees, 69 days at 105 or more degrees, and 86 out of 91 days that were 100 or more degrees. It was hot. We're ready for something else.
I don't know. The math just doesn't seem to be mathing for me. Most of the days are over 100, but yet the average is below 100. Were there a couple really, really low days early on or what?
I think they take the averages throughout the day. So the lows too that are in the 70s and 80s sort of bring that down. I think that's how it works, but it was definitely hot. And I think, again, that crazy stretch of 120-degree days made the rest of the summer seem not so bad. So I will say that. Felt a little bit cooler after that, like we could survive, because I was ready to move. I was getting ready to sell my house and get the hell out of the city.
It's like the old Kmart jewelry plan where they jack up the price and then make it 70% off. So it seems like you're getting a deal, I guess.
That's an obscure MTM Vegas bingo card reference, the Kmart jewelry markup. I like it. So there was a monorail fire. There was a fire in one of the cars. It was an electrical fire. Nobody was inside. Nobody was hurt, but it created some dramatic video. It happened at the Sahara station. And it looked pretty bad, but it wasn't bad at all. In the end, they put it out. So no real drama.
I don't know. Electrical fire seems kind of bad and something that people ride in. It's kind of scary.
They don't have replacements for these trains, so we need every little part that we can get. Yeah, it is scary in that it could have been bad, but it wasn't. Nobody was in there, and they were able to put it out quickly. So it seemed like it was a small component that caught fire.
Yeah, hopefully they use this to check the other stuff, make sure it's all good. But like you said, you can't replace these. So if we have to chop one off or remove a car of the train, then we're just losing capacity and stuff. And we see how busy it can get at times and how much everybody loves the monorail. We're hearing, 10, 20 years is what they're saying. This makes it seem like it's less so. But hopefully it's just a one-off.
We got to get that pipe dream plan that we talked about on a previous show going to extend it. I love stuff like that, but the monorail is dying. People just accept it.
There was a really good comment on the video of how that would never work because it wasn't a loop, like the trains would have to change tracks and stuff, and it just wasn't feasible if it was one big loop from the airport going out and have a better shot at it. It made too much sense. I don't like it. I want to pretend, live in La La Land, that this could happen.
Yeah, I mean, why not at this point? We know it's not going to happen, so let's dream away and figure out what's best in this in a bizarro world that we don't live in. So we're talking negative. That was a little negative, Mark. Let's talk positive about Rio today. Obviously, their light show was one of the first things they did, and we've talked about it before, but there's this cool new drone shot that shows this entire light show for what it is, and it's very unique. Each section is computer generated, so it's very random, and so you don't see the same light show over and over and over again. They spent a lot of money on this, and they really needed to draw people to that property off the strip, and it looks great, and just, I love this drone video, so figured we would share.
Yeah, I think we've talked about how much we like the lights and how they've updated the property inside, but, outside, and that's the big thing is a lot of people that come to Vegas maybe have never been to the Rio. Nobody's talked about the Rio in years and years. It's lost its luster, and this kind of draws your eyes out there. We've seen it with the Sphere. We've seen it with Strat, having the lights on the outside, and this kind of draws you to it. You might be like, oh, let me go check out if it's that cool on the outside. Maybe there's stuff going on the inside. So I think they've been doing a really good job of kind of keeping it in the news and everything, and this is just another feature of it.
If it's so nice on the outside, then you go inside to the Masquerade Village area, and it's very sad, but we've talked about all the good stuff, the carpet. Oh, that carpet. Love that carpet. So Rio is good. And actually the light show
Do you need a minute?
looks better in person. The light show looks better in person. When you're standing close to the buildings, it looks even better.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to F1. We have an F1 story that's a little bit obscure, and we didn't talk about this last year, did we? The Shoey bar. I don't think we heard about this or covered this. but this is a bar that was very popular apparently last year's F1, where they serve cocktails out of shoes, and they're bringing it back this year with 2,500 new limited edition golden shoes that you can get a Red Bull cocktail inside of. How much do you think these cocktails cost?
Yeah, so I was kind of wondering, there's only 2,500. They're kicking this off like the week before the race. Like, that's kind of stinks for anybody that's coming in for the race. They'll be sold out. So I'm like, okay, what are they charging for these? Is it like $250 for the shot and all that? And then people that buy the special Bellagio tickets get the gold shoes, I think. And then they have another set of shoes, which is the 2,500. So I looked it up. At least last year, I think it was $135, which includes the drink. I don't know, not as bad as I would have expected.
Then you got to get two, right? A left and a right, and then hope that you can wear the shoe or something. I don't know. But this year's version will have shot glasses, miniature ceramic shoe replicas packaged in a tiny shoebox. So yeah, they're adding even more to this concept.
Yeah, I don't know. We should get them and put them up behind us. We'll have a shoe hanging up there because we love F1 and all that it brings. But I don't know, if you were into the sport and this was a big thing for you and you love F1, I think it's a really cool promo, something different. Just think of it like if you love basketball, you love football, something along those lines, like getting your drink inside of like a half cut out Spalding. I don't know, but I think it's unique and something kind of fun.
Yeah, I mean, $135 actually doesn't seem bad for a keepsake like that. It looks high quality. I mean, I don't think I'm going to go buy one, but it looks very neat. So we have to follow up on the New York check-in story, and that is the new check-in desk that we talked about on the last show. Lots of people, thanks for chiming in the comments, saying the old registration desk is turning into some sort of a bar. Some people said sports bar, other people said video poker bar. Likely all of the above. Yeah, I still don't understand the concept of that tiny of a check-in desk for such a huge hotel. But I will say MGM's app check-in, worlds ahead of Caesars, and we don't see the long lines at their properties as often. But when something goes wrong, that area is just going to be miserable.
Yeah, all it takes is one hack, and then the online check-in doesn't work, and we've seen that happen. So I don't know. I will not be staying at New York, unless they, this goes through with flying colors on the app and everything. It just seems like it's too risky to me. It's basically the size of a Hampton Inn check-in, which has 200 rooms. This is kind of bizarre for a couple thousand rooms. So I don't know. I'm hopeful that it works out well, but I feel like there's going to be a couple times a year where we see these long lines and it's going to be just treacherous.
The old lobby bar in New York, I don't think I have any footage of it, but it was very small, and I'm imagining it's going away. It was sort of across from the registration desk, but very small. And this is sort of the move that we've seen MGM do at Excalibur. They added the center bar. So adding these extra bars and experiences. There is another old desk, I think, in that area that they use for overflow if they need to. This is all over by going out to the pool area, but I hope that mural stays and everything up there near the old registration desk. I have to imagine it will.
Yeah, I think some people are rumor that it's like a sportsbook type bar or a sports bar type of thing. I think adding, bars is always good. It gives you more access if you want more seating, all those type of things. And I just wish they would have figured out a way to make it, not this tiny little cave of a desk. I don't know. It's weird. We'll have to see how it plays out. I'm hopeful. Well, I'm not hopeful, but I hope it works out. I just don't think it will.
So up to Fallon, Nevada, which is not something we talk about often. Fallon is I don't know how small the town is. I visited there in the 90s a couple of times when my brother did bowling tournaments. There's an Air Force base there. Was a charming little town back then, but there's a casino called Stockman's Casino. And I guess the reason that this is in the news or we're covering it is Michael Gaughan III. Also, I always refer to him as Michael Gaughan Jr. because that's how he was always referred to back in the day. Not quite sure the story behind that, but he's buying that property. And then when I was looking things up, I found he bought some properties in Colorado. So he's kind of branching out and keeping the casino family business going on his own.
Yeah, I think that, adds some interest to this, intrigue and everything. I don't know that many people going to Vegas would ever find themselves in Fallon. If you live in the area, you could be driving somewhere, like a little stop on the way. But the fact that he's buying it, I think, adds something to it. We love what he does at other properties, so we'll have to see how this plays out.
So it's crazy when we follow Vegas for so long, how often rumors come back up. And then sites have to dispel the rumors. And I guess it came back around that Disney is buying a Vegas hotel, which is the most ridiculous thing. Specifically, Excalibur seems to be the hotel people talk about, which is it because it's a castle and Disney has castles? Is that why? There's nothing Disney about that place at all. But yeah, Disney's not buying anything. We don't even have Star Wars slot machines anymore, as far as I know. So Disney doesn't want anything to do with gambling. They just announced a bunch of new cruise ships. Their cruise line is growing up to 13 ships. and they don't have casinos on their ships. They're like the only cruise line that doesn't have that. So why the heck would they buy in Vegas?
Keep them out of Vegas. It's already expensive enough. We don't need Disney coming in and jacking up the prices any more than they are. Yeah, it's weird. I mean, it's the Disney of adulthood. Vegas is. We always make that joke, but yeah, I don't see why anybody would think that they would come into this have anything to do with gambling. It would kind of ruin all that they have built up in the family space and everything. It'd just be weird.
It is interesting how people compare Vegas and Disney. You know, obviously the lines have been crossed with Disney adults, everything else like that, but it isn't a new comparison. Everybody sort of did that. And then, of course, Vegas in the 90s was kind of trying to become Disney. MGM Grand Adventures was certainly inspired in some ways by Disney. You have all the other family-friendly stuff. So it's not like these paths didn't converge before.
Yeah, I think if this would have been a rumor in like the 90s, it would have made sense. Now it just is kind of random out there. I don't know. It doesn't make sense anymore, but yeah, 90s Vegas definitely, leaned into that a bit and wanted to be more of a family oriented or family driven type of destination.
And let's close with this. There's potential for something big coming to downtown at the D, and I don't know what it is. And also, I don't want to oversell this, but the McDonald's that's been at the D, one of the most successful McDonald's in all of Nevada, has now closed. Apparently, their contract was bought out by the ownership of the D, which is, of course, Derek Stevens. Nothing has officially been announced, but I'm sure they have plans for that space. So, Mark, what are they going to put in there?
I don't know. I'm sad about this. Like, this is the first I'm hearing of it, and I'm a little bit sad. I used to love getting up when the McDonald's was in a Fitzgerald and just walking early morning, walking up and down Fremont Street and grabbing a breakfast sandwich and kind of heading out for the day. It was so quiet and calm, and it was so cool to just grab something quick and take the sights in before the crowds got there and the heat got there. So I'm sad. I wanted to stay McDonald's.
I saw somewhere on Twitter, one of the historic accounts that posts old things, that this is the first time you won't be able to get McDonald's in downtown Las Vegas since 1971. I'm sure there's McDonald's just further afield. We have a ton of them here. But the Plaza's McDonald's, remember, closed recently, maybe last year. And now with the D closing, there are no McDonald's there. And I do think it's a good way to have a cheap meal, and the prices weren't marked up too much. And that place was always packed. Every time I went in there, it was always a busy location, but that's really close to the Fremont Street entrance. It's a great kind of prime piece of real estate, and I'm sure the D just needs to expand. I mean, they need every little bit they got. Derek Stevens will come up with something. The longest bar. Somebody's got to do it. The Sphere didn't.
Yeah, I don't know. You think you could just jack up the rent for McDonald's and they probably would have paid it if it's one of the most successful ones. It is tight in there. There's not a lot of space. So we'll have to see what they come up with. I mean, Derek Stevens usually comes up with something kind of cool, maybe it'll be Sportsbook themed.
I think it'll be a bar of some sort of a lounge, and try to tie it in. Because again, it is right off of the Fremont Street entrance, but I never thought we would be talking about what could possibly be replacing a McDonald's. But, it's a slow news week because of Labor Day.
Did you think you'd be sad that a McDonald's is closing? I'm sad.
I haven't eaten at that McDonald's. Well, I never really ate there. I would get a drink there every once in a while back in the day. So, yeah, I know that it's a great option. There's a lot more going on down there now. Of course, you still have White Castle that you could go to, get a Detroit Coney dog. You have the food hall at Fremont. You have a lot of other options that weren't there.
How quickly can you get to the bathroom if you're eating White Castle? I don't know about that's a good option.
Hey, a burger is a burger. I don't know. But yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys think they're going to put down there. I mean, I think this could be a big deal. They haven't announced anything yet, but there's not a lot of new stuff going on downtown space-wise. So anytime one of these casinos figures out a way to reuse the space, it's really cool. And I was just thinking about Fremont Street, and you have the Whiskey Liquor Bar and just all of these bars, the one at Golden Nugget out on the street, Circa opening, the Carousel Bar, just how much over the last 10, 12, 15 years that's sort of changed and brought a lot of these casinos more outdoors and the sort of cohesive experience. Even though we haven't had a ton of new stuff other than Circa, if you really think about it, a lot has changed down there.
Yeah, they definitely brought in a lot of stuff and risen up the area and the entertainment value there. It used to be you just kind of walked around, went into each casino. Now there's a lot of other stuff. And even like Fremont East, you didn't really want to go down there too much before, and there's a lot of cool stuff there. So it's been good to see the area grow. Maybe they need to open it as a daycare for people that want to walk at midnight with their children.
Or an adult daycare for people who had a little bit too much fun. Of course, Derek Stevens, the best thing he ever did was bring Mannequin Piss from Belgium here, that statue that I don't feel like enough people kind of wander to the front to go see. So make sure you go see Mannequin Piss. And thanks to Derek Stevens for all his wacky ideas. Can't wait to see what he brings here.
Yeah, now we're going to get this video defunded for saying piss.
PIS, Mark, PIS.
Okay. Yeah.
So let us know what you guys think about anything we talked about. The sportsbook at the Suncoast. Are you excited about this new trend with that? New York, and their true registration desk, the new bar coming there, the Trojans going through the casino. Did that remind you of an episode of Las Vegas? Everything else we discussed, leave a comment. We do 2 shows a week, Tuesdays and Fridays, and we'll be back in a couple days with another show. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you next time.
Have a good week, everybody. PIS.